Also making news for you this morning, Aussies are willing to sacrifice up to a third of their salary if they can work from home. It comes after new research found just how far employees will go for a little bit more flexibility.
Let's bring in the future of work expert, Kim Sealing-Smith, live from Townsville. Kim, good morning. What did this study find?
Good morning. Well, yes, up to 45% of people surveyed said that they would be willing to take a pay cut in order to have the flexibility to work from home. In fact, 20% of them said that it would go up to 45%. A little bit less said, smaller percentage. What's interesting, though, is the demographic split. So when you think of working from home, most people think that those Gen Ys, millennials, those Gen Zs, the younger generation are really pushing for it. But that's not what the study found. The study found that people in their 20s actually prefer to work in the office. It's people in the 30s and 40s who prefer to work from home, 30s or 50s rather. People in their 40s, it didn't say, which brings the old question about the forgotten Gen Xers back to the table, I think.
Yeah. So a combination of both. Would that be a good idea?
Yes, absolutely. All of the research says that it's not an either or, and we tend to paint this as either work from home full time or work in the office full time. But what really works well is a hybrid working situation where, depending on the type of work that you're doing, so if you're doing some deep work, some thinking work, some strategy work where you need quiet, let's face it, the open plan office is not the place for you. But if you want to collaborate, if you want to communicate, if you want to develop relationships with your peers, then it's a great idea to work in the office. The other thing that is kind of a great hybrid situation is mentoring. So a lot of senior leaders are talking to me about the fact that we've lost the opportunity to bring people into the office to mentor alongside of those who have more experience. But I think that we just need to be more imaginative in terms of how to do it. Yes, sometimes it does benefit for them to be in the office, but we can solve that challenge using technology in other ways that we hadn't thought about before the pandemic.
Yeah, maybe they meet up just, for a coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk
Yeah.
it, hey?
Yeah.
Hey, so this all comes as businesses aims to get employees back into the workforce, with 90% planning to entice them with pay rises and promotions. Do you think that's a smart move?
Well, in the short term, it might be. Your last guest just talked about the fact that we might be seeing some economic headwinds. And there's no doubt if we do see economic headwinds, the go-to position for a lot of senior leaders is to make people redundant. Now, I think that's a mistake. We saw after the GFC that those companies that did deep slashes were the companies that found it harder to bring people back after the GFC ended. And I think that if we do go into an economic slowdown, all of the economists that I'm reading say that it's going to be short and sharp. And so those companies that have made people redundant may be looking to hire back in the not too distant future. So I think that we might see people coming back into the office for job security in the short term. But those companies that require them to come back into the office will see the quickest exit when the economic situation turns around, if it does go into a downturn.
So Kim, just quickly, how do you negotiate something like that? We're coming to the end of the year now where everyone's starting to look ahead to 2024. Any tips for employees to hit the boss up in the last few weeks of 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So you always want to prove your value. A lot of employees make the mistake of either asking for a pay rise or asking for something like the flexibility to work from home based on what's in it for them, why they want it, why they need it. And that's a huge mistake. What you want to do is you want to present a business case. Why does it benefit your employer? Why is it valuable to your employer to get a pay rise or to work from home? So you want to think about it in terms of the value that you bring. You want to be very prepared to talk about the outcomes. This is something that a lot of managers miss out on, is the ability to manage by outcomes and not time in the desk. And once we make this switch, then hybrid work and recognizing people from working from home will be so much easier.
Yeah, well, Kim, just to confirm as well, doing that at the Christmas party after a few cardies is not the time to have that conversation.
Probably not the right time to have that conversation.
Maybe just wait till Monday morning.
Exactly. Kim Sealing, live from Townsville. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys.
Still